of the world. They lied and stole and smoked cigars, even the girls. And they talked dirty and they hit little kids and they cussed out their teachers. Oh, and they even said the name of the Lord in vain. Oh, and they even set fire to Fred Shoemaker's old broken down tool house. And that's not all. Someone sent 5 dozen donuts to the firemen, and the Herdmans ate them all. And what they couldn't eat, they stuffed down their shirts and their pockets. And they wrote this really dirty word on the back of Naomi Waddell's turtle so that she couldn't even take it to the YMCA pet show. Her mother wouldn't let her. What was the word? And that's not all. They wrote it in fluorescent paint so that it glowed in the dark. When you couldn't see the turtle, you could still see the word. And they put tadpoles in the school drinking fountain, and Miss Barnes drank 2 or 3 by accident. And someone yelled, "Hey Mildred, stop! You're drinking tadpoles!" But it was too late. Did she get sick? Not right away. And that's not all. Now I'm going to tell you about the Christmas pageant and about the Herdman. There were 6 of them. With Ralph, Imogen, Leroy, Claude, Ollie, and Gladys. And they all went to the Woodrow Wilson School like those South American fish that strip your bones clean. Well, they went around town in the same way, stealing things and tearing things up and whamming kids. So it was hard to get away from them. There was only one safe place.
Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, because there are no Herdmans there. And Jesus loves us as they say, because he keeps them miles away.
That's my little brother Charlie, and that's what he said when the Sunday school teacher asked him what his favorite thing about church was. He said, "No Herdmans." Well, the Sunday school teacher got a little mad because all the other kids said nice things about God and Jesus and good feelings. Oh, but good old Charlie told the real truth. No Herdmans.
I don't care what everyone else said. That's what they really thought. And all that other stuff is okay. But the main good thing about church is there's no Herdmans, ever.
That's not a very Christian sentiment, it seems to me.
It's a very practical sentiment. Charlie was black and blue all last year because he had to sit next to Leroy Herdman in school.
Leroy, is that the worst one?
They're all the worst ones.
Ralph's the biggest, so if he gets you
That doesn't matter. Gladys isn't big, but she's fast, and she's mean, and she bites.
I'm sorry I asked. Just stay away from all of them, Charlie.
That's what I say. Stay away from them. Go to church.
Well, I'm glad to hear you feel that way.
Why?
No arguments this year about the Christmas pageant.
I'm not going to be a shepherd.
Then tell Mrs. Armstrong you want to be a wise man.
I don't want to be in it.
Everyone is in it. Think how I would feel sitting there on Christmas Eve if my own children were not in the pageant. Think how your father would feel. You would feel terrible, wouldn't you, Bob?
Well, actually, I hadn't planned on going this year. I thought I could stay home, relax, read the newspaper, put on my bathrobe. They could use my seat for somebody else. No, there's never anything different about the Christmas pageant.
Well, there's going to be something different this year.
What?
Charlie is going to wear your bathrobe.
You just thought that up.
Charlie, why don't you be Joseph? Elmer Hopkins will pay you $1 to be Joseph. He's sick of being Joseph all the time. Well, just because his father's a minister and all. Nobody wants to be Joseph.
Nobody wants to be in it.
What are you going to be this year, Beth?
I'm always in the angel choir.
Well, why couldn't Charlie be in the angel choir?
Because I can't sing.
Well, son, that's not a major drawback. From what I've heard in the past, the angel choir always sounds like a closet full of mice.
What do you have to wear in the angel choir?
Bed sheets,
Oh boy, some choice, bathrobe or bed sheets. Let's go watch TV.
Okay.
You both know Mrs. Armstrong works very hard to give everyone a lovely experience.
Oh, Mom, Miss Armstrong just likes running things. I get the remote.
They're right, of course. She does direct the pageant. She's head of the potluck supper, and she's chairman of the bazaar. I'm sure Helen Armstrong would preach a sermon if anyone would let her.
Armstrong. Is that George Armstrong's wife?
Yes.
Well, she better try running the hospital because that's where she is. I saw George this morning at the drugstore. He said his wife broke her leg this week and she's going to be laid up for 2 weeks and in traction.
Well, if she's laid up to the first of the year, they'll have to cancel Christmas.
Is she in charge of that too?
Well, she's in charge of the pageant, and she's in charge of the potluck supper. I do feel sorry for Helen, but who is going to do all those things?
Yes, I'll take over the bazaar, Edna, if you'll do the potluck supper. But I don't know what in the world we're going to do about the pageant unless... Well, how about Grace?
Sorry, Edna, I couldn't possibly. I've got company all Christmas week. Well, how about Grace?
How about Grace? Hello, Grace?
Bob, I have to direct the Christmas pageant.
Does that mean I have to go?
The Christmas pageant isn't exactly what you call four-star entertainment. And Miss Armstrong breaking her leg was the most unexpected thing that ever happened to it. It was always the same old Christmas story with the same old carols, with the same old Mary and Joseph. And that's what my mother was stuck with. Well, that and Mrs. Armstrong.
Tell you again, Grace, how important it is to give everyone a chance. Here's what I do. I start with Mary, and I tell them it's very important that we choose our Mary very carefully because Mary was the mother of Jesus.
I know that,
And then I
Helen.
tell them about Joseph, that he was God's choice to be Jesus' father. That's how I explain that. But they don't ever say much.
I thought Mrs. Armstrong was in traction. How could she talk on the phone if she's in traction?
What do you think traction is?
It was like, where they put you to sleep.
No such luck, Charlie. Beth, I think we'll need napkins and salt and pepper, please.
And I tell them there are no small parts, only small actors.
You will save some for the rest of us, won't you, Charlie?
I'm hungry. Leroy and Herdman stole my lunch again.
How can you let him do that to you day after day?
How can I stop him? Where's the chicken?
Grace, where's the chicken?
It's still in the oven.
Okay.
Oh, and you have to get someone to push the baby angels on stage or else they get in each other's way and bend their wings. Bob could do that, and he could also keep an eye on the shepherds.
Yes, Helen, I have to go. I'll talk to you later. Yes?
Lady, could you give me some supper? I haven't had a square meal in 3 days.
It's just you.
I was awfully lonely at the table.
I'm sure Helen was awfully lonely at the hospital.
Not as long as the telephones were working.
I bet she told you about no small parts, only small actors.
And getting someone to shove the baby angels on and making the shepherds shut up.
Yes, you suggested your father could do that.
Does that mean I have to go?
Oh, and Grace, don't just get anybody's baby for the baby Jesus. Get a quiet one. Better yet, get two. That way, if one gets fussy, you can always switch them.
Well, my mother didn't pay much attention to Miss Armstrong. She said Miss Armstrong was stuck in the hospital with nothing better to do but think up problems. And there weren't going to be any problems. Of course, my mother didn't count on the Herdmans. That was Charlie's fault.
Leroy! Come back for my lunch! What was it? 2 Twinkies. That's right. That's what it was. Hey, why you think it's so cool and they needed everything to steal my lunch? You know what? I don't care. In fact, I'll even give you my dessert. I get all the candy I want in Sunday school. Oh yeah? What kind of dessert? All kinds. Snickers, Butterfingers. You're a liar. Sundae, cupcake. Who gives it to you? The minister. Why? Is he crazy? No, I think the minister's rich. Sunday school.
Oh boy, that was the wrong thing to tell the Herdmans. And sure enough, the very next Sunday, there they were in Sunday school, just in time to hear about the Christmas pageant.
Hey! What's a pageant?
It's a play.
Like on TV? What's it about?
It's about Jesus.
Everything around here is.
And it's about Mary. Mostly, it's about Mary.
Oh yeah? Well, who's Mary?
Well, I am. Well, usually I am. I know the part.
Beth, Charlie, you and David come. Now, everyone be quiet. What we have to do today is decide who will play the main roles in our Christmas pageant. Of course, everyone will have an important role to play. As Mrs. Armstrong always says, there are no small parts, only small actors. Isn't that what Mrs. Armstrong always says? That's what she says, but she never says what it means. Well, don't you know what it means?
I know what it means. It means that the short kids have to stand on the front row of the angel choir or else nobody else can see them.
Well, not exactly. It means that the tiniest baby angel is just as important as Mary.
I don't think anybody is as important as Mary. Naturally, that's what you think, Alice. I think Jesus is more important. I still think it means the short kids have to stand in front.
All right, girls. Everyone is important. Mary, Jesus, and the short kids. Now, Beverly, will you please go out in the hall and see if there's anyone else coming?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you little children will be our baby angels. So you'll have to remind your mothers that you'll need bed sheets.
Miss Bradley! Miss Bradley! Miss Bradley!
Well, let's make some room for the Herdman. Now, what happened to Beverly?
I think she went home. I think she got sick.
Did she say she was sick?
All I did was, I said, "Hi, Beverly," and she just left.
I see. Well, will someone please remember to tell Beverly about the rehearsals? The next 4 Wednesdays after school, plan to be here for everyone. Now,
What if they get sick?
you won't get sick. Now, Mary and Joseph must absolutely be here for every rehearsal, and
What if we get sick?
you won't get sick either, Elmer.
Well, Beverly got sick, and we didn't even start yet.
We don't know that Beverly got sick. Now, I want you all to think about Mary. We all know what type of person she was. She was quiet and kind and gentle, and the girl who volunteers to be Mary should try and be all those things. Now, who would like to volunteer to be Mary? Do you have a question, Emma Jean?
No, I'm gonna be Mary. And Ralph here, he'll be Joseph.
Yeah, right.
Yes, well, I see. I'll just make a list of volunteers, and then we can all decide who should play those parts. Ralph Herdman. Now, would anyone else like to volunteer to be Joseph? Elmer, didn't you raise your hand?
No.
Anyone, just please raise your hands if you want to volunteer to be Joseph. Anyone, please. Please? All right. Ralph Herdman will be our Joseph. Now, Emma Jean has volunteered to be Mary. Whose else name may I put on the list? Janet? Roberta, please, may I put your name on the list? Alice, don't you want to volunteer to be Mary?
No, I don't want to. I'll be Mary.
Shut up, Gladys, I'm Mary. You be a wise man.
Well, wise men are usually boys, but I guess we could make
I'll
an
be a
exception.
wise man.
Me too. Hey, Claude, you want to be a wise man? Raise your hand.
What's a wise man? Just raise your hand.
What's left to be?
Some angel.
I'll be that. What is it?
It's the angel of the Lord that brings the good news to the shepherds. Oh, there we are. Do we have some volunteers? Any of you shepherds want to be wise men? Yes, Toby.
I just wanted to say, I can't be a shepherd. We're going to Philadelphia.
And why didn't you say something earlier?
I just remembered.
My mother doesn't want me to be a shepherd.
Why not?
I don't know. She just said don't be a shepherd.
I'm not going to be a shepherd.
Oh, yes, you are. Now, what is the matter with all of you?
I don't want to be a shepherd. Gladys Herdman hits too hard.
The angel of the Lord does not hit anybody. She just brings the good news to the shepherds.
And hits them.
Elmer, that is ridiculous. And I don't want to hear another word about it from anyone. No shepherds may quit or get sick. Now, you all may go, but I expect to be here at 6:30 on Wednesday. Alice, why did you volunteer to be Mary?
I don't know.
You don't know? Alice, I expected you to volunteer.
Get Gladys off of me.
Don't you want to be Mary?
Miss Bradley. Oh, Alice. Oh, I don't know. I didn't dare raise my hand. Emma Jean would have killed me. She said, I'm going to be Mary in this play, and if you say anything or raise your hand, you'll wish you didn't. And I said, but I'm always Mary in the Christmas pageant. And she said, fine. Go ahead then. And next spring when the pussy willows come out, I'll stick a pussy willow so far down your ear that nobody will be able to get it. And you'll have to spend the rest of your life with a pussy willow bush growing out of your ear. Oh, you know she wouldn't do that. Oh, yes, she would. The Herdmans will do anything. You just watch. They'll do something terrible and ruin the whole Christmas pageant. And it's all your mother's fault.
Jane, Edna McCarthy, did you hear about... Oh, well, it must be Grace's fault somehow. I mean, how could the 6 of them end up in the Christmas pageant when they all ought to be in jail?
Vera, Miss Lockham, I just heard that Emma Jean Herdman is going to be Mary in the Christmas pageant tonight. Is that a fact? All 6 of them? Vera, I live next door to that outfit, and I'd rather live next door to a zoo. Has Grace gone crazy?
Where did they come from? Who let them in? Emma Jean Herdman? What kind of child is that to play Mary, the mother of Jesus? And where is Reverend Hopkins, I'd like to know? He was what? Visiting shut-ins? Well, I'm a shut-in and he wasn't visiting me! I just told Grace that she should just let them hand out programs at the door. But Grace said they never had programs at the Christmas pageant. Well, I said that it
If I'd been up and around, this never would have happened!
If I'd been up and around, this never would have happened. Well, let me tell you.
Don't tell me, Grace. The car's over there.
Helen Armstrong is not the only woman alive who can run a Christmas pageant. I made up my mind just to do the best I could under the circumstances. But now, I am going to make this the best Christmas pageant ever. And I'm going to do it with the Herdmans. After all, they raised their hands
That's
when
good
no one
for
else
you,
did.
Grace. That's good for you. The car's over there.
And you're going to help me.
Does that mean I
You
have to
have
go?
to go! Now the inn is going to be back here off stage, and the shepherds will come in and gather around the manger.
Where'd all the shepherds come from anyway?
What's an inn? It's like a motel where people go to spend the night.
What people? Jesus?
Oh, honestly, Jesus wasn't even born yet. Mary and Joseph went there.
Why?
To pay their taxes.
At a motel.
Shut up, Ollie! Ollie, you shut up! I want to hear her. Now begin at the beginning. The beginning of the play. What happens first? Imogen, this is the Christmas story from the Bible. Haven't you ever heard the Christmas story from the Bible? Well, that's what this pageant is, so I guess I had better read it to you.
I can't believe it. Can you? They've never heard the Christmas story? Well, why not? They didn't even know what a Bible was. And they'd never been to church in their whole life. Until your dumb brother told them we got refreshments. Now we have to waste all this time for nothing.
All right now. And there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And Joseph went up from Galilee with his wife Mary, being great with child.
Pregnant! She was pregnant!
All right, we all know that Mary was pregnant. And it came to pass the days...
I don't think it's very nice that your mother says that Mary is pregnant. Well, she was. Well, I don't care. It's still not very nice for your mother to say that Mary was pregnant. It's better to say, great with child. And besides, I'm not supposed to talk about people being pregnant, especially in church.
And wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn.
My God! There was no room for Jesus?
Well, no one knew that the baby was going to be Jesus.
What about Mary? Didn't she know? Or what about Joseph? What was so wrong with him that he couldn't tell her pregnant and everything?
What's a manger? Some kind of bed?
Well, they didn't have a bed in the barn, so they had to use whatever they could. What would you do if you had a baby and no bed to put it in?
We put Gladys in a bureau drawer.
Well, there you are. You didn't have anything, a bed for Gladys, so you had to use something else.
Oh, we had a bed, only Ollie was still in it and he wouldn't get out. He didn't like Gladys. Remember how you didn't like Gladys?
That was smart of Ollie not to like Gladys right off the bat.
Anyway, a manger is a wooden feeding trough for animals.
What were wadded up clothes?
The what?
You said she wrapped him in wadded up clothes.
Swaddling clothes. People used to wrap babies up very tightly in large pieces of material to make them feel cozy.
My God! You mean they tied Jesus up and threw him in a feed box? Where was the child welfare?
The child welfare's at our house every 5 minutes. There wasn't any child welfare in Bethlehem.
I'll say there wasn't.
And there were shepherds keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came.
Shazam! What? Out of the black night with horrible vengeance! The mighty marvel!
I don't know what you're talking about.
The mighty marvel, an amazing comet! Out of the black night!
Gladys, this is the angel of the Lord that brought the good news to the shepherds.
Out of nowhere, right? Out of the black night, right?
Well, in a way. Now, when Jesus was born, there came wise men from the east, bearing gifts of gold and frankincense
What's that?
and myrrh.
What's that?
They were special things, spices, and precious oil.
Oil? What kind of present is oil? We get better gifts than that from the welfare.
Were they the welfare? The wise men?
No, they were kings and they were...
Well, it's about time somebody important showed up. If they're kings, they can get the baby out of the barn and tell the innkeeper where to get off.
They were sent by Herod, who was, well, he was the main king of the time, and he wanted to find Jesus and have him put to death.
My God! You mean they're gonna kill a baby? But he just got born!
Who's Herod in this play?
Herod is not in the play.
He's out to kill the baby and he's not even in the play?
Well, somebody better be Herod. Let's let Charlie be Herod. And he says, go give me that baby. And they say okay because he's a king and all.
But they don't do it. They go back and they get Herod.
I'm not gonna be Herod!
No one is going to be Herod.
No. Joseph gets the shepherds together and they go back and get Herod.
Yeah! They're gonna put Herod in the play and it's gonna be beautiful!
There's no Herod. Forget about Herod. And then I take the baby and I run away with the lights on.
Hey, somebody ought to fix the innkeeper. Gladys, you wipe out the innkeeper.
I can't. I'm an angel.
Well, I wouldn't just hang around in the barn. I'd go get myself a hotel room.
Well, she said there wasn't any room.
I don't care what she said. I'd go into that hotel and I'd say, listen here, it's the middle of winter and I got this baby, so get out or move over.
I'd send the angel after me and she'd point her electric finger at him and turn him to ashes.
Hey, what's the name of this? She never said.
Christmas pageant.
That's no name, stupid. That's what it is.
I know a name. We'll call it Revenge at Bethlehem. Revenge at Bethlehem. Oh, the Herdman thought this Christmas story came right out of the FBI files. Well, at least they picked out the right villain. It was Herod they wanted to gang up on, and not baby Jesus. But the baby Jesus kind of flipped the pageant. You see, it was supposed to be Eugene Slocum, but Miss Slocum said she didn't want Imogen Herdman to get her hands on him. So we didn't have a baby Jesus. And that upset my mother, and she kept trying to scratch up a baby even at the last rehearsal. Hey, Alice, what do you keep writing in that book? It's like a diary. It is not. It's all about the Herdmans. Imogene curses and swears all the time. Ralph talks about sexy things. Miss Bradley called Mary pregnant. Gladys drinks communion wine. It's not even wine. It's grape juice. I don't care what it is. She still does it. I've seen her 4 times with her mouth all purple. And that's not all. If you go shake the birthday piggy bank, it's all empty because the Herdman stole all the pennies out of it. And if you go into the ladies' bathroom, the air's all blue because Imogene's sitting there in her Mary costume, smoking cigars. And you wrote all of this down? What for? For my mother and Reverend Hopkins and the Ladies' Aid Society and whoever else wants to know what happened when this Christmas pageant turned out to be a big mess.
All right! Everyone be quiet!
Beth and Alice, will you please come up here so we can get started? Now, this is our last rehearsal, so...
Grace, can I see you for a second? Thank you. I just wanted to let you know that we're back in the kitchen making applesauce cake. We'll try not to bother you. I can see this is your dress rehearsal.
It's supposed to be.
Yes.
Oh, and I heard your niece had a little baby a month or so ago, a little girl.
Yes, she's 5.
How do you think it would be if I were to call and ask if I could borrow the baby for Jesus?
Grace, no! I would tell you that the baby is sick or cranky or something, but she's not. She's perfectly healthy and happy and beautiful, and we want her to stay that way. So we are certainly not going to hand her over to Imogene Herdman. Sorry, Grace.
Miss Bradley.
Yes?
You can have my little brother for Jesus.
Well, I didn't know you had a new baby, David.
Oh, he's not new. He's 4 years old, but he's double jointed and he could probably scrunch up.
Well, I don't think...
I can get us a baby.
How can you do that?
Well, there's always 2 or 3 babies in shopping carts outside the supermarket. I'll take one.
Imogene, you cannot just steal someone's baby. No, I guess we'll just have to forget about the baby and we'll just use the doll.
Yeah, I guess a doll's better anyway. At least a doll can't bite you.
And Imogene, you know that Mary did not wear earrings.
I just got them pierced and I gotta keep something out or else my holes will close up.
Not in an hour and a half. What did the doctor tell you to do?
What doctor?
Well, who pierced your ears?
Gladys?
I bet she's an ice pick. They'll probably turn purple and fall off.
We'll just have to find something smaller. Now, is this what you're going to wear? Is that your costume? You all know you're supposed to have your costumes on today.
I can't find my halo. My wings are bent. Janet's got my robe. My mom doesn't have any white sheets. Can I wear a sheet with balloons on it?
I haven't got a costume. I've never been a shepherd before.
You have to wear your father's bathrobe. That's what I have to wear.
But my father doesn't have a bathrobe.
What does he hang around the house in?
His underwear.
All right. Everyone just pretend you're wearing costumes.
Are we going through the whole thing?
Well, yes, of course. But first, we're going to start with the entrances. So everyone go to where you enter, and we'll start with the shepherds.
Where do I go? Oh, I've never been a shepherd.
Now, Maxine, just read the last few words.
Shepherds keeping watch over their flocks by night.
Music.
While shepherds watch their flocks by night, and an angel of the Lord appeared to them. Out of the black night! A multitude of the heavenly hosts.
Music. Angels.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing Lord the praise.
Watchmen.
I got the baby! Don't touch him! I named him Jesus!
No! No one says anything!
Mary and Joseph make a lovely picture for us to look at while we think about Christmas and what it means.
Now put the doll back! I'm supposed to be married, I don't get to say nothing! Some stupid angel tells me what to name him. I would have named him Frederick.
Oh, what a terrible thing to say!
What angel was that? There's angels all over the place. Was that Gladys?
No, Gladys brought the good news to the shepherds.
Yeah! Unto you a child is born!
Unto me a child is born. I'm the one who had the baby.
No, all that means is that unto everyone a child is born. Unto us all a child is born.
This is stupid. What did that angel do? Just come up and say, name him Jesus.
Yes.
I know what the angel said. The angel said, his name shall be called Wonderful, Marvelous, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Prince of Peace, and the Everlasting Father.
My God, he'd never get out of the first grade if he had to write all that.
scene. 5 minutes, everybody!
Well, we never did start over. And we never did go through the whole thing. 5 minutes turned into 15 minutes, and Imogen Herdman spent the whole time smoking cigars in the ladies' room. And then Miss McCarthy, she went into the ladies' room and saw all the smoke, and she called the fire department, and they came right away. Fire! There's a fire! Had burned up. Well, all the ladies were mad, and Miss McCarthy was mad. Oh, and my mother was mad.
Why in the world did you call the fire department about a little smoke? It was a lot of smoke. The ladies' room was full of thick smoke. It couldn't have been you just got excited. And now look, there's baby angels crying in the street, and shepherds climbing all over the fire truck, and firemen in the church. Didn't you know it was cigar smoke? No, I didn't know it was cigar smoke. I really don't expect to find cigar smoke in the ladies' room of the church.
Alice Windlekin's mom was mad too, and the whole Ladies' Aid Society was mad. And Reverend Hopkins, well, he didn't know what to think.
Grace, the whole church is in an uproar. I've been on the phone all day. Some say they set fire to the ladies' room. Some say they set fire to the kitchen. Vera Windlekin called and said all they do is talk about sex and underwear.
That was Hobie Clark talking about underwear, and they didn't set fire to anything. The only fire was in the kitchen where the applesauce cake burned up.
Well, I don't know what to do. You know, Jesus said, "Suffer the little children to come unto me." But I don't think he meant the Herdmans. You know, Grace, maybe we should think about canceling the pageant.
Oh, but that was Helen Armstrong's idea.
Well, we could blame it on the fire. It makes a good excuse.
Oh, but that was Edna McCarthy's idea.
Well, everyone seems to think that it's going to be,
Disaster? Well, they're wrong. This is going to be the best Christmas pageant we have ever had.
But Grace, I'm afraid no one's going to come.
I didn't think so either. Oh, and neither did Charlie. But boy, were we wrong. On Christmas Eve, the church was jammed full. Everybody came to see what the Herdman would do.
All right, now watch your step. Wait till I turn on the lights.
I don't know what you think you're going to do with this thing.
Well, I thought it would look like a palm tree. See now that it doesn't. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. We have never once run through the whole thing, and the Herdmans still think it's some sort of spy story. This may be the first Christmas pageant in history where Joseph and the wise men get in a fight, and Mary runs away with the baby. Now, where are the kids?
I don't know. All the kids in the world are downstairs putting on bed sheets.
I mean our kids.
We're here!
Well, it's getting late. Go get your costumes on now.
Oh, it's just going to be awful, you know. They're all dirty and fastened together with safety pins and wearing their moldy old sneakers. Mary and Joseph, they look like refugees or something.
Well, that's what they were. Mary and Joseph, they were refugees in a way. They were cold and tired, and they were a long way from home and didn't have anywhere to stay, any place to eat, or know anybody. They were probably cold and tired and hungry and a little bit messy.
I don't know about cold and hungry. They were sure messy.
Oh, do you think I should?
I think that you worry too much. Now, I'm supposed to push on baby angels and something else. When do I do all that?
Just follow this script here.
Okay, baby angels, shepherds, wise men. When do the fire engines come in?
No.
Just kidding.
No, everyone come on stage, please. I want to see how you look. Oh, everyone, just come out here, please. Now, Gladys, where is your halo?
Our cat buried it. Listen, I think I ought to say something except the baby came. I mean, why would they all tear off after some baby they don't even know? I ought to tell them it's Jesus, and I ought to tell them where he is.
No, Gladys. All you tell them is unto you a child is born. And that is all that you tell them. Now, everyone, let's go backstage while people are coming in and be quiet and good luck.
Miss Bradley. Actors don't say good luck. They say break a leg.
Yes, I know that, Alice, but... In this case, I don't think that would be a good idea. For those of you who don't know what that means, it is just a theatrical saying. It doesn't really mean break a leg, yours or anyone else's.
Well, then why did you say it? Oh, be quiet.
Now, everyone, let's go backstage.
Why did you say it?
Imogene, remember that is a baby. And for tonight, anyway, it is the baby Jesus.
In the day of Caesar Augustus, there went out a decree that everyone should be taxed. So Joseph went into Bethlehem with his wife Mary, who was great with child. And while they were there, she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. They look awful. And what's she doing with the baby? Burping him as though he had colic or something. Well, he could have had colic, well, just like any other baby. I don't care. It looks awful. And they look awful, too. So what? They've just come a long way, and they have no place to stay, and they have a new baby to worry about. Who? Imogene and Ralph? No, Mary and Joseph. In that same region, there were shepherds in the fields watching over their flocks by night. And an angel of the Lord watched their flocks by night, sleeping on the ground. The angels of the Lord came down, and glory shone around. And glory shone
summer.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we travel so far. What's that clause got? It's a ham! A ham! Look! Where did they get a ham? I think it's the one from their welfare basket. You mean it's their own ham? They must hate ham. Even if they do hate ham, Alice, it's the only thing they've ever given away in their whole life.
Being warned in a dream not to return to their own country, the wise men departed another way. The shepherds departed also, praising God for all that they had seen and heard. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm.
Look, Beth. Mary's crying.
Miss Bradley, Mary's crying. Mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep.
Could you believe that was Imogene, Herdman, and all the rest of them? I mean, I think this was the best Christmas pageant we ever had, and I think it was because of them. Could that be?
Oh, I always get weepy about the pageant. I guess it's the children and the carols and all. But you're right. This was the best one, and it should have been the worst.
There was just something different.
Well, the angel of the Lord was different.
You know, I kind of liked it. Had lots of spirit. Usually, you can't even hear the angel of the Lord. I must go find Grace and tell her.
I just wish now that I'd let her have Eugene be the baby Jesus.
Who was the baby Jesus?
Why, it was a doll.
Oh no, Irma, that was no doll.
Well, it did seem real.
It did seem real, as if it might have happened just that way. We all thought the Christmas pageant was just about Jesus, but that was only part of it. It was about a new baby and his mother and his father who were in a lot of trouble. No place to go, no money, no doctor, and nobody they knew. And then from the east, like my uncle in New Jersey, some rich friends. Well, because of the Herdmans, A Christmas Story was a whole new story. I mean, Imogene burping the baby and the wise men bringing such a sensible present. After all, you can't eat frankincense. And even Gladys screaming, "He's in the barn! Go and see him!" So the shepherds didn't have to stumble all over the countryside. But I guess for Imogene, it was different. For her, I guess the Christmas pageant seemed all a wondering mystery. As if she just caught on to what Christmas was all about. Well, when it was all over, we had a party in the basement. Oh, but the Herdmans didn't stay. Well, they didn't have any hot cocoa, and they didn't walk off with all the cookies. And they wouldn't even take their candy canes.
Well, I guess that's about it. Any kids left down in the basement?
No, everyone's gone. You were wearing your bathrobe. You're not going to wear it home, are you?
I wouldn't mind being taken for a shepherd in this Christmas pageant.
Yes, you would. After it was over, some big lady came up and gave me a hug just because I was a shepherd. What are we going to do with this ham?
It's the Herdman's ham from their welfare basket, but they wouldn't take it back. Leroy said it's a present, and you don't take back a present.
Leroy said that? They must hate ham.
You and Alice Windleton.
What about the lights, dear?
They're on a timer. They'll go off at midnight.
Midnight? Well, that's not too far away. It's almost Christmas.
It's almost Christmas, kids.
It's almost Christmas, Charlie.
A multitude praising God.
I bring you good tidings of great joy.
Hey! Hey!
nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven